Hello, everyone, and thanks so much for logging on to your CBSN Denver Daily Sports Line for Draft Day, round one of the NFL Draft kicking off later this evening, at 6 o'clock start for those of you here in the Mountain Time. We are, as always, brought to you by BetMGM, and I want to bring in the king of BetMGM, Mr. Jason Scott, joining us from Australia today. Jason, the betting market on the NFL Draft has been absolutely wild as of late, especially at that number 3 overall spot. Take us through what's going on over the last couple of days here.
Look, I'm a very confused, flustered man this morning, Australian time, Michael. This draft, it's going round in circles. The number 3 spot, look, Mac Jones was into minus 300 at one stage earlier in the week on the back of links and rumours out of the 49ers. That switched. It reminds me very much of what happened with Baker Mayfield a couple of years ago, where in the last 24, 48 hours, when there was 4 quarterbacks around that year, he came from the sort of the third choice to end up at the number 1 pick very quickly. We've seen the same thing here. Trey Lance, who was third pick behind both Fields and Jones, is into minus 130 today. Jones, who was minus 300, back out to plus 120. The dogs are barking. It's going to be Trey Lance. Interestingly, we haven't taken any huge bets. We're actually cheering with the people betting late here at this stage. We had a huge liability, Mac Jones. So who knows? Who knows? And that's not the only position where things are going around in circles.
And that's one of the things that I always love about draft day, and especially about the betting markets, as you watch this thing kind of fold over. The number 3 spot has been so crazy. I think everybody's solid that Lawrence and Wilson are going to go 1 and 2. Jason, as you look at the rest of the offerings that you guys have on BetMGM, what, if anything, stands out to you here on draft night?
Look, I think it's worth touching on the Broncos, Michael, because they've been very interesting on the back of the trade earlier in the week. And Mike Parsons, who was sort of the consensus pick for the Bronx, certainly even a couple of days ago, might have some behaviour issues. He slipped.
Yeah.
Rashawn Slater is now very much in the frame there as an O-line. And we're plus 180 any O-line player, plus 220 any linebacker, and plus 400 a quarterback. I can't see the Bronx taking a quarterback. What do you think?
Yeah, I'm kind of with you there. I think if they stay at 9, unless a guy falls, and I think at that point you're looking at maybe Justin Fields, but I don't think he falls that far, especially given what Carolina did yesterday in trading Teddy Bridgewater here to Denver. I think that the Broncos probably stay away from a quarterback. I think if they stay at 9, that you could see him go in the direction you were just talking about, or I could see him trading back too, and so I think that what they did yesterday really kind of opened up the options for them, which I think makes it such a good move, especially considering the fact that they only had to give up a 6th-round draft pick in order to get Bridgewater. One thing I am keeping an eye on, Jason, the total quarterbacks drafted in round 1 over under 5.5 really has me intrigued at some decent plus money there.
Who do you think's the 6th?
Well, I think you could see the kid from Stanford going. I think I don't think Kellen Mond goes 6th in the 5th or in the 1st round. But you see this all the time, right? Teams get hungry for quarterbacks. They love the fact that if they get them in the 1st round, they've got the 5th-year option. I think it's worth a flyer. I'm not going to put a whole unit on it, but I'm going to put a little bit on there and maybe sprinkle it and just have some fun. And if for no other reason, it gives me a reason to be interested in all 32 picks tonight.
Actually, for the late picks, the one we've seen a lot of interest on are the 2 running backs and where they're going to be picked.
Yeah.
I think they've been very well supported, both Najee and Eddie Young.
Yeah, I think that's going to be really interesting to see where those guys fall as well. Jason, let's talk NBA quickly. We got the Nuggets tonight, and this line has moved a little bit. The over-under has moved a lot in favor of the under. It opened today around 221.5, and at the time of taping right now, it's down to 217.5. The Raptors coming to town tonight. What, if anything, stands out to you about this one?
Look, I think your man Michael Porter Jr., who you've made so much money off from BetMGM over the last 2 months, him not certainly playing is a big factor here. The Nuggets have been winning post the Murray injury. They haven't been super impressive. But look, I've been on here the last 3 weeks and said I'm with the Nuggets. I have no reason to change tonight. I don't think -4 is a dreadful line. I'd be happy to take that against Toronto on what is frankly a very difficult night of NBA.
Yeah, I'm with you. And, look at that under, and part of the reason why it's come down, the Nuggets have only covered 1 of their last 6 games. The under has cashed in 4 of their last 5 for both Toronto and for Denver. So I think that's part of the reason why the under has come down a little bit. And even if Michael Porter Jr. can't go tonight, Nikola Jokic is still going to go, right? I mean, he's the most important piece to that Nuggets team. So I'm with you. I'm on that. And I also like as my best bet tonight, Pascal Siakam over 20.5 points. That's cashed in 4 of the last 6. He had a terrible game in their last outing against Brooklyn, was 2 of 16 from the field. I like him to bounce back tonight. Give me Pascal Siakam over 20.5 as my best bet. Jason, as you look, you mentioned it's kind of a weird night in the NBA. Anything else that stands out to you across the entire slate?
Yeah, look, personally, I'm enamored about the evening. The sharp customers in Vegas and elsewhere in the country have found Oklahoma City Thunder against the Pelicans. They're 10.5 down to plus 8.5. Might be worth a small ticket.
All right, good to know. Jason, you're the best, man. Thanks as always for joining us. Enjoy draft. It won't be draft night in Australia. It'll be draft afternoon.
10 o'clock in the morning it starts, so can't wait.
Draft brunch. Looking forward to it. We'll see what happens, and we'll talk to you about it next week.
Thanks, Michael.
Cool.